Okay, everybody, today we're going to be diving into the market and our local market in the Stark County area, but also just some myth busts out there and what you should know coming from your local loan officer and then local real estate agent. So I'm Ethan Rebuck with Cutler Real Estate, sitting with Brian Winkler with Pursuit Lending Group, and we're just going to be going over the market ahead. So, Brian, you want to lay some groundwork real quick and just explain what you're seeing out there, what first-time home buyers are going through?
First-time homebuyers are still going through the same thing, and that is too many of them aren't getting pre-approved right away. They're looking at houses before they start. So my recommendation always is get pre-approved before you even start looking at houses. What they're going through is the same old. There's a lot of buyers and not a lot of houses. So there's still a shortage of inventory, which makes it difficult. Now, in my opinion, it's easier for first-time homebuyers than current owners, because they don't have to sell a house to get under contract. So just because you're a first-time home buyer doesn't mean you're going to lose out to the competition, because your competition, who may have a house, they might be contingent, meaning they need to sell a house to get under contract. So it might be easier for you to buy a house than someone who currently owns a house. So
Right.
It's tough, but it's definitely doable. We get contracts, and like I said earlier, I think 14 contracts in the last week and a half.
Yeah.
So things are busy, and many of those are first-time home buyers.
Yeah.
What are you seeing on the other side?
Yeah, so it's very busy, and it's very hard, for first-time home buyers. And I lay that groundwork when I speak with any, buyer, seller in this market. But, first-time home buyers in general, they're excited, right? They're getting, anxious, ready to go. And so when they start looking at houses, they just want to jump on the ones that they love. And it's tough whenever then you have, 10, 14 offers. But you're absolutely right. When it comes to the leverage that you hold as a first-time home buyer, you might be renting, and so you don't need to have, or worry about the possession days or things like that. Contingent on selling your house. We know in today's market that if you are making an offer contingent on selling your house, there is a very slim chance that you actually are going to win that. And so, absolutely right. You have to look at it from that way.
And the reason why, and I think you would back me up on this, is if you're a seller and your house is decently priced and it doesn't need a lot of work, you're going to have a lot of offers on that house. So you're going to be able to, as a seller, choose the path of least resistance. So if you got a cash buyer, hey, you're going with cash. So you don't have to mess with someone like me screwing something up. Or if you're someone who owns a house and you need to sell that, so you're contingent, that's just one extra thing that could screw that whole process up that a first-time home buyer doesn't have.
Yeah.
And first-time home buyers right now, just be patient. Don't get discouraged. I see people a lot make 2 or 3 offers. They don't get their offer accepted. They write a new rental agreement with their landlord, and then they're out of the market again for a year. Like, just hang in there.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
Right.
But that's what I'm seeing.
Well, and that's the thing with multiple offers when it comes to, first-time home buyers or any buyers, is you just don't know, right? You put your best foot forward, and we do as much, research and whatnot, but I can't get you to spend what money, and sometimes it doesn't even make sense. Yeah. So you have to do what you're comfortable with and what you're willing to put forward, unless, put forward versus losing the house.
And listen to your agent. Listen to you. If you're saying this is a good offer, I'm willing to offer $10,000 more. Well, but that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Don't be so gung-ho that you want that house. Like, it's going to cause problems.
Yes.
And the last thing you want to do is buy a house that's worth less than what you're paying for it.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah. So let's talk about the local market trends, and specifically in Canton, Ohio, right? I think Canton, Ohio is a huge market, whether you're investing, whether you're buying your first home. Yeah. I know that Ohio in general is one of the most affordable places to purchase a home. And they are rolling like hotcakes, whether it's someone out in California buying an investment property or that first-time home buyer. And so, when it comes to these market trends, right, how long are they staying on the market? We talk about these competitive bidding wars. Well, the average days on market before going pending in Canton, Ohio is 8 days. Can you imagine sellers are relieved.
That's huge for them. I knew it was quick. I didn't know it was 8 days. That's awesome. Yeah. I guess for my client's sake, that's not awesome, but no. Yeah, that's quick.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes it fun. It makes it interesting. Gives us an opportunity to really be competitive in different ways. When I talk to first-time home buyers in those competitive situations, I'm always bringing up letters to the seller, right? And it might seem outdated, and it might even seem at times like, is this really for something? And I will tell you that I've had home buyers, first-time home buyers in general, win because of those letters, because they make the sellers cry. And so, cash is king. Money always talks.
Pull at the heartstrings a little bit.
That's right. Yeah. That's right. So, using different tactics like that, working with a good team, like you and myself, to get that job done, and using different, programs and techniques. Talk about, when it comes to getting a quicker close on those homes, what can your team do over there as far as moving that process along quicker?
Well, I'd say, I did close one recently. It was from the time I got the contract to the time I got the clear close was literally 5 business days. Now, I put that out there, and everybody's expecting to close a deal in a week. That's not normal. That was a case where another lender dropped the ball, couldn't get the loan closed. We got it, but we still had a deadline. Normally the contracts that we see are 3 to 4 weeks. 3 weeks is not a problem for us. 2 weeks, as long as everybody's moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
2 weeks is fine. There's just, people have to understand, there's a lot of third parties out there that also control this. The appraiser. What if the appraiser drags their feet? We had an appraiser, awesome guy, but he had a death in the family. So the order he got on day 1, day 2 is when the death happened. We didn't get the appraisal for 7, 8 days, which is still pretty good.
Yeah.
But if we're trying to close in 2 weeks, that ain't happening because that third party, it's nothing against him. I mean,
right.
The death in the family. Title companies, so you have these third parties, but most of the time when somebody asks me, hey, can you do 30? That's
right.
not a problem. And I usually come back and tell them, if by writing 3 weeks is a deal breaker, then do 3 weeks. We'll get it done in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
If you have to do 3 to win the deal, then do it.
Right.
But, those odd cases where you really, really got to move. I don't want to say a week, but a couple of weeks is definitely doable, as long as everybody's, the client, the appraiser, the title company. But my team doesn't really look at the contract date. It's, if there's something to be done, we're doing it today.
Yeah.
Which
is the right mindset. Yeah. When it comes to it.
Yeah,
and I've seen, buyers win because they can get it done quicker. So that's super important. When it comes to the housing market and these first-time home buyers, right, I'm sure a lot of them are thinking about, well, what if I buy this house and it doesn't pay off? What if it, doesn't end up appreciating or getting to the point where I'm in it for 3 years and I want to move?
Yeah.
That's a common concern, right? And especially in the markets around here. And to them, I just have to show them the statistics of where we are going, right? Yeah. And so from last year to April of 2025, we've had appreciation rates in Canton up 14.4% on average. So crazy, all-time highs. And we look at this market, it's hard to believe that we can keep going up. But if you've been waiting since 2020, it's continued to go up.
Well, and that's the thing. I mean, I've got a client who is selling his house right now. Bought it in 2017 for $125,000, and is selling for $280,000. That's roughly $150,000 in 8 years.
Right.
And then if you think, well, what if that client started renting in in 2017 and paid $1,000 a month?
Right.
Well, there's another almost $100,000 you spent in rent. So if you would have bought in 17 versus rented, that's a $250,000. So yeah, things are going to continue to appreciate as well. I mean, we haven't seen depreciation since the mortgage meltdown. So values aren't going down. Prices, and that's the other thing. A lot of people think, well, I'm going to wait till prices are good. They're not going down.
Yeah.
We need massive foreclosures before prices go down, and it's not going to happen. And I tell people all the time, and people laugh at it, but it's true. Everybody who owns a house right now went through the financial equivalent of a rectal exam to get that house. They qualify for that house. There's not going to be a massive foreclosure problem. So,
right.
So if you're waiting for prices to go down, it's not going to happen. The appreciation, the 14% is amazing.
Yeah.
That might slow up a little bit, but you're still going to see at least double digits for the next couple of years, if not more. So When people ask, is it a good time to buy? It's always a good time to buy.
It's always a good time to buy. I heard someone say, time in the market is better than timing the market. So time in the market is better than timing it. So it's super important for those first-time home buyers to just understand, the reality out there. Yep. Because when we look at, and when, I know we have first-time home buyers who we've worked with, who they're on TikTok, they're on, Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is. And you get this national buzz, right? You get the things that the networks and mainstream media wants you to talk about and get their, post engagement up. And just a lot of myths out there between programs and different loan types. And, first-time home buyers can get lost in it because they've never done it before. And, that's why I think that truly we enjoy working with them so much, because we get to be there to guide them to reality.
Educate them. That's part of the fun part for me. I like coaching. That's fun for me. As long as they listen. Everybody likes to listen. But yeah, and back to, is it a good time to buy? I'm waiting for home prices to come down is one thing I hear. The other, which I'm waiting for rates to come down. Well, if you wait a year, that house price goes up 14%. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the interest rate's 1% better. Great. Guess what? Your payment's still the same.
Yes.
So why are you waiting? You can refinance next year if you want. But it's a good time to buy. Interest rates suck. They do.
Yeah.
Prices are high. They are.
Right.
It's not going to improve.
Yeah. But I think whenever you look at it from a first-time home buyer standpoint, right, you have one of two things you're going to do. You're either going to rent or you're going to buy. Yep. And when you look at rents, like, they're at an all-time high, because these landlords who bought these houses in 2008 for $10,000 are still renting them, and they're renting them for $1,200-$1,300 a month. Yep. When in Northeast Ohio, uncompared to the rest of the world, you can buy a house and be at, $1,200, $1,100, even $1,000 and lower a month, versus you're just paying rent for nothing.
And you touched on it. There's a reason why people from California and Oregon and Washington, and I got a couple from New York that are buying rental properties here. Yeah. It's not by accident. It's because they can charge the rent.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I forget what average rent is in Ohio. I want to say it was like $1,200 or $1,300 a month. So even $1,000 a month, that's $12,000 a year. You're never seeing that money again. You buy a house and spend $1,000, $1,200, whatever it is a month. Like I just said, my client made $150,000 in appreciation in 8 years. Mm-hmm. It's a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah. So, and then over the last, 5 years, right? If you're a first-time home buyer in that time period, I mean, you touched on it, interest rates and the mortgage, volatility. So what should first-time home buyers be looking forward to?
Rate-wise?
Yeah.
If I knew that, I wouldn't be sitting here. Number one, the bottom line is, no matter what you hear out there, it's inflation. When inflation gets better, rates are going to improve. A lot of people thought that tariffs were going to cause inflation to go up. It hasn't yet. If anything, the inflation numbers we saw last month or earlier this month were good. They were headed in the different direction. So will they get better? Yes. When we've been thinking that it would be second, third quarter this year, and it still might. But again, we're not going to see, we're roughly in the 7% world right now,
right,
give or take. We're not all of a sudden going to see 3%. It's if we're lucky, maybe by the end of the year we're at 6%.
Yeah,
and that's huge. That would be gigantic. But if you're sitting over there saying, I'm going to buy a house when rates hit 4%, all right, well, I'll see you in 2027 or 2028 then. Maybe it is sooner. I don't know. But rates are definitely going to improve in the not-too-distant future. In the meantime, we're just hanging out. I mean, one day is worse than the day before, then the next day it improves, and then we're going – it's just back and forth and back and forth. But it's not going to be a gigantic improvement coming forward or moving forward. But maybe by the end of the year it's a percent. But, again, if you're waiting to buy until it hits 6%, your payment's still going to be the same because you're paying more for that house than you would have in May or June.
Oh, absolutely. And I think that's what people don't understand is, like, I have people that are like, oh, I just want the the market to crash tomorrow. I want the rates to go down. Okay, let's see the rates go from 6 to 3% and see what that does to the market, because you are going to have 2020 all over again. It's like they don't understand why that happened. But if you go back and you look at these different financial swings in the market, 2020, 2008, back to the 90s, what led to those, and so people just don't understand, the politics and how supply and demand, which seems like a pretty elementary term.
Yeah, I mean, 2008 was because those people who owned houses didn't go through a financial equivalent of a rectal exam to get that house. They just handed the money, and so you had foreclosures. But, when it comes to real estate, really, I mean, everybody's got their own opinions. Mine is, if you can afford it, because if you buy a house today at 7%, and then rates do go to 4% in 2 years or whatever it is, you're not back out there shopping for houses. You don't have to battle. You're already in a house. Refinance.
Yeah, right.
It's the same thing. And you've built up equity for 2-3 years that you've been in that house. Mm-hmm. So if you're waiting because you want prices to come down or interest rates to come down, and one of those two things actually happen and then you buy, you still didn't win.
Yeah.
You still lost because it's down the road.
Right. Yeah, so I mean that's the simple truth of it. There are a lot of myths out there. There is mainstream media. There's random TikTokers who are posting this stuff. And so I think that all me and Brian really want to say out to the people is find yourself who you trust, in the mortgage world, in the real estate world. Find those partners. It could possibly be us. So reach out to us and we will help guide you through that process. This was Uncovering the Myths. Any more questions, please reach out.